Good day, good morning, and good evening, Commanders. With Season 2 being released and old maps being put back into the ranked map pool, newer players are at a disadvantage when facing more experienced ones. That is why I'm here to deep dive each and every ranked map so that hopefully you can win lots in Season 2. The third map of the series will be taking us to Two Ways. Two Ways was one of my favorite maps because I really liked its map balance. I always loved using the map's advantage to win, and this map was perfect for it. As always, we'll analyze the better side first. So, this side is better on Two Ways. Reason being is that you get this building block, which overlooks Charlie, as you can see, and overlooks actually this bit of road of Charlie, and you get this little CV spot to take golf. So if you take a look, blue's side flank zone is alpha. This is blue's zone. Red's zone is golf. And then the middle, otherwise known as Charlie, is neutral, right? So this is our zone, and we get it. This is their zone. They're supposed to get it. However, they don't. And for our zone, we get more of our zone than than they get of theirs. That's the way we're gonna put it. So we get this little forest line, and we also kind of get to here, kind of. You have to have a recon helicopter justify infantry going up to there really aggressively. Like I said, every single time I play a ranked game, I always start with two or more recon helicopters. On this map, I would start with three. I would have one going down in the middle, one going down on the right, and one going down on the left. And then on the left, I'd spot whatever they have. In the middle, I'd spot whatever they have, and on the right, I would spot whatever they have. So a recon helicopter justifying our FD pushing really aggressively into their zone. And you don't realistically have to. The best thing about this side is that you don't have to be in the town itself to take the town. You can place your CV on this spot right there that no one can see. If we take a look at the LOS of that spot right there, as you can see, it's in cover, and the only place where you can see it is if your enemy actually pushes all the way down here so that he can see you, or if your enemy has this and then from here can shoot you. That's the only way he'll be able to spot your CV here. That's why all of your play, your entire victory, if you want to play a 40-minute game on this map, what I do is I secure Charlie, because realistically, if you secure Charlie well enough and trade good enough in it, no one's taking Charlie. Like, it's pretty hard. There's lots of forests around Charlie. There's forests here, and there's this building in the middle that you get. It's really hard to push Charlie. So the way that I play this, if you take a look at the top right, I'll show you. The way that I play it is that I secure the middle, I secure my zone on the right, and then I just tick that corner of the left zone for the rest of the game. That's your victory condition. Now, of course, I really don't like playing 40-minute games in ranked. I prefer to end them quickly. I prefer to blitz. But if you are more comfortable with playing 40-minute games, that is your victory condition. And if my blitz tactic in the beginning of the game does not work, I get countered early, I can always I could always fall back to just these defensive positions and start taking the corner of the zone. So your entire play on this map, in my opinion, is just putting a CV here and staying here for the rest of the game. That's your play. Now, the defensive positions you'll be taking to overlook the field that's gonna push into you are these ones. I mean, they're pretty obvious, to be fair. And what I like to do sometimes is I like to go for this because, again, what we talked about last time, having a vertical defense and a horizontal one means that you insta counter whatever your opponent is trying to push. So always try to put a bit verticality into your games and it will work. So I like to take this position because it gives me that depth and it gives me that control over, first of all, this road. It gives me control over this field and this field on top of the control that I have from these positions. Now you can also put something in this so that later you can take this up here. Again, vertical, horizontal and vertical defense, and no one's pushing anything into you. So ideally, if you want to tick this forever and ever, you'd deploy a bunch of infantry over here and then push them up into this and take these two positions. So that is your priority. This is your first priority. This is your second priority. That and this is your third, because this is just the cherry on top when you're attacking this zone. So that is kind of the game plan for the rest of the game, and your entire play is based off on this. Now, what I like to do is you can get away with pathing your units like this. You can get away with that, but you risk sometimes either losing your cohesion or getting shot at by an ADGM placed here. So I don't like to use this road all that much, but if I'm feeling risky, sure, I'll use it sometimes. Most of the times though, I'm using this road to path my CV and my units in general to this forest. And that's how I play from. I play it like this, basically. And like this, and like this. And then you take this zone forever and ever. That's the play. Defense on this side. If you take a look, your opponent's reinforcement road, most of the time for this, in general, if it's just a bit north, it's most of the time this. Most of the time, your opponent will be using this road. And so the way to make your opponent really uncomfortable is to force them to use this road. Because if you take a look at the spawns, no unit is using this road, because the only way you're going to use this road is if you're deploying here in the first place, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for because the spawn is here. The spawn is here. It doesn't make sense for if you're deploying up here, for example. It doesn't make sense to go like this from spawn, then go to here and to here and to here. Now, this is of course a safer route for the enemy, but in this game, pathing doesn't work for what's safer. It works for the fastest path to the like designated position. So the pathing of enemy spawn is basically always, for everything that's above like this line, it's basically always this road. So we're gonna take advantage of that by pressuring the enemy's road of life, to say the least. And now you don't need to take it. You mistake me if I mean to take it, but just pressuring it a little bit will add that little like uncomfortable factor to your enemy, and it will make you take his position from him a lot easier, because when your opponent is constantly uncomfortable, they're constantly like, oh my god, this is happening, oh my god, it's so bad. Like, it's if you restrain your opponent, you're gonna win a lot easier. So apply a bit of pressure to this road by simply taking these positions early on. What I like to do, if you can get to up here, that would be perfect, because later you get some play in this forest, and then you cut off this road for good with literally anything you place down there. And then your opponent has to reroute units to fight you here, and that's really uncomfortable for him if you've already taken these forests. If you've already taken all that, him pushing into you is like really, really bad, because he can constantly be punished by air power, by literally anything, by tanks that are stacked here, by AT infantry, by ATGMs that we're gonna stack in these forests. It's really bad for your opponent if you take these forests up here, because you put pressure on his main road, and it's so uncomfortable. And your opponent, let's say your opponent realizes that this road has been cut off, and he summons units, and he's constantly thinking about like, I want them to use this road, I want them to use this road, but they don't. And so he's constantly going to be losing units because you've cut off his road. And it's really funny, it's really fun, and it's really comfortable to play from our position if you take these forests. So I advise you to play a bit over here, even though our victory condition is over here. So our victory condition is here, but applying that little bit of pressure can feint an attack and like force the enemy to reroute resources to deal with this. While he's dealing with this, you're stacking the middle, you're stacking your defenses, you're stacking this even more, and then you just play a very, very solid game. Or you give your opponent a run for his money in these forests for the rest of the game. Imagine playing 40 minutes here and your opponent being able to do nothing about the CV that's here and the defenses that you've set up around here. There's absolutely nothing he can do. So I advise you to play a bit over here, try to seize these early positions, and of course, like if you can maybe get up to here, that's also very, very beneficial because that gives you potential to attack and take the middle. And the middle is a three-pointer. The middle is, well, if you take it, you're gonna be in a very good position. And even if you're taking this on top of taking the middle, you're golden. Like you're just straight up golden. There's absolutely nothing your opponent can do if you've managed to make that much progress. So try to do it early on. Your victory condition is here. Again, you don't have to have many units to justify putting a CV here. If you think about it, there's realistically only a couple things you need. Maybe like an ATGM, maybe just one tank, some infantry here that will seize this, some infantry here that will protect from an all-out assault, a recon unit, and if you seize this, even better, some infantry. This is like maybe 700 points, not from the opener, of course. Like you can spend 700 points on this in the opener. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. But 700 points over time spent on this left zone, and that's enough most of the time. And even if you get pushed out, you're constantly gonna be fighting back into it because like it's really hard for the enemy to hold this because he needs to have a vertical defense, but if you think about it, there is nothing for him to take verticality on. So you're constantly going to be pushing him back out because you get all of this. You get this forest, you get basically up to here, you get this, you get this, you get this. You get these forward positions that can constantly threaten him to push him out of here. And then once he retreats back into his city, you're back into your victory condition. And you're going to win this game like this. Now for the middle. We've talked about how pushing the middle, basically, you kind of need that pressure on the right. Because if you just do a full forward assault on the middle, it can work, but you'd need to play a bit on these like forests. And that's honestly, most of the time, just a real pain. It's honestly suffering, constantly fighting in these forests because these forests are long. You can't support them with tanks. There's really nothing you can do. So it's just an infantry fight, and most of the time, maybe like I mean, as 4E, I'm kind of losing these infantry fights here. Well, unless I support them, unless I find ways to win them, I have multiple factors benefiting me, and I'm advantageous. I won't lose them, but like infantry on infantry 4E, it gets good utility, don't get me wrong. Like, my division gets good utility. As you can see, I get double vetted Panzerinfanteria, but they're not gonna beat Spetsnaz in the forest ever. And realistically, this meta benefits VDV a lot. You'll find a lot of VDV games against you, and you'll find a lot of divisions. Actually, I've found a lot of divisions. I found 56 Yas, I found VDV, I found 5V already. So everyone's playing meta, and fighting in this forest is just not that beneficial. But of course, if you want to just do if you just want to do a frontal assault in the middle, then you have to take these forests. There's no other way. But I wouldn't advise that. If you want to if you want to take the middle so badly, play here. Because like the play is over here for the middle. This decides the middle. This does not decide the middle. This decides the middle. The right, this decides the middle, because if you cut him off completely, how's he holding this? Like, how is he gonna hold this? If you've cut him off here completely and you're here as well, you can just go on every side and kick him out of there. He can't hold that, because if we change the camera to look at his perspective, if you're breaching down here, and if you're going through here, how's he holding this? Like, there are absolutely zero defensive positions he can take. Like, he can go up to here, but he's gonna get like insta countered. He can go to here, insta countered. He can go to here, and then he's not getting insta countered, but like just go around him, like, and then he can't see you. Like, go around him, go down here, like he can't see you then. So it's really easy to take the middle. You just need to fight vertically a bit, and you need to understand that the fight for the middle is, well, a bit decided within these forests, decided by this, but also a lot of the play that I force in my games is here, and my victory condition is down here. So if this doesn't work out, if that doesn't work out, and I get pushed back and I have to fall back, to these positions, to this position, to these positions. If I'm getting pushed back, I can always go back to this. I can always go back to it. It's that simple. I can always go back to it and I'm going to win this game anyway. There's nothing you can do. So that was the better side. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow I'll be going over the worst side of two-ways. Until then, you can watch some of my other videos that feature other ranked maps. See you next time, Commander.